Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And of course, we get to welcome back the co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins, who spent almost a week in sunny Cancun. Welcome back to the show, TJ. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point. Right there is the CEO, Mr. Israel Rivera. But we are very happy to have TJ back. By the way, while you were in Cancun in what was probably 80, 90-degree weather, it was like in the 30s here the entire time. So I hope you're happy, TJ. You took all the warm weather with you to Cancun.
I don't think it was here to begin with. So yeah.
I was gonna say he need to bring it back over here.
Yeah, man.
That's what you need to do.
Step up your game, man. Bring us some warm weather.
You're selfish.
Yeah, very selfish, TJ. Very. But yeah, welcome back to the show, TJ. We missed having you for our NFL Draft Day coverage. And our yesterday's show as well. Where we broke down some stuff going on in the National Basketball Association. With those matchups going on in the divisional round or semifinals round, actually. But today's show, we're recapping the 2023 NFL Draft, and the name on the banner, we got our winners, losers, and everything else. Just real quick, just thoughts on the draft before we get into some individual stuff.
I was able to watch it on the plane.
That's nice.
It was... I just went on a selfish note. It was nice to see a bunch of Illinois dudes get drafted. We haven't had that in quite a while. With Devon Witherspoon kicked it off. He was like the first Illinois. He was like the first top five draft pick from Illinois since like the 50s. It was just like it's been a long time. And it was the DBs this year. Izzy, they talking about it might be the D line class next year. So it's like this is a long time coming. Like that Illinois defense has been spectacular like the last handful of years, and it's finally coming into fruition to see these guys. The benefits. Both the twins got picked. Both the Brown twins got picked.
The Devin Witherspoon. I forget the other guy, the other DB that got picked.
Martin.
Martin got picked as well. So,
but yeah, also for me, it also seems like general managers in general just getting better at this. Like it was much more it was more difficult to pick losers in this particular draft.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
This is a draft class. Like when I look at the draft class, I'm like, every team kind of killed it in this draft. There were a couple that we'll get to it, but this is as a whole, NFL teams. Obviously based on projections, we don't know how these players are going to end up. But based on projections, you look at a lot of teams' drafts and you did a pretty damn good job.
Every team. I was gonna say that, man. It was a well balanced draft. Every team pretty much got some type of value out of their picks. There were a couple teams that reached. There were a couple teams that where I was like, well, you probably didn't need that there, but I get why you drafted that guy because he was probably the best available at that position on your board or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, overall, this is a well-balanced draft for all teams in the NFL. So very hard to pick a loser.
Let's get into it. So we're going to break down 2023 draft like this. Winners, losers, best pick, worst pick, best value, worst value, most shocking pick, and your personal favorite pick. So let's start with the winners, man. Let's get into the winners. Who do you guys have as just TJ? I'll let you go first since you have been on the show in almost a week. Who's your first winner of this year's NFL draft?
My first winner is not to be biased, because I'm not gonna. The Bears are winning. That's just not my first winner. Houston's definitely my first winner. Like you get CJ Stroud, then you trade back up into the top 3, and you get Will Anderson. Like, bro, you
went crazy when he did that.
You made moves, bro. Like that is.
And that move made Sham stop announcing picks on Twitter.
I swear, me and David were going crazy about this guy, Sham. What are you doing?
Because he was just wrong, dude. And then you get Tank Dell. You get Tank Dell in the third. Right, I think the only reason he dropped to the third was because of his stature. Tank Dell is on the small side. Then you get Henry 20202 from Alabama. He failed just because it's Alabama and they just got linebacker galore, right? And you get the Jared Patterson from Notre Dame. Notre Dame's been on the downside the past handful of years. Ask Izzy, he knows. And you got Xavier Hutchinson in the sixth round out of Iowa State. Yo, Houston had a
That's
good
the
draft.
pick I like right there for Houston. Like in terms of late round picks, I'll
Yeah.
get to it later. But Xavier Hutchinson was one of the nation leaders in catches. He had over 100 catches last year, 1,100 yards. He's a big body, 6'3". I mean, that's a lot of value at sixth round. He had a higher grade than where he got picked at.
Yeah, I love the Houston Texans draft. My first winner is Georgia North.
Yeah,
Georgia North. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Keely Ringo in the fourth round pick for Keely Ringo. Many people had him as a first round pick. Get him in the fourth. You get Sidney Brown, also safety out of Illinois. You also get a steal in DeAndre Swift, trading him for like a fourth round pick, not even in this draft. Like a fourth round next year and a seventh this year to get DeAndre Swift.
In my opinion, that's not a steal because that's not like DeAndre Swift's injury history didn't play a role in that.
Sure, yeah, sure. But DeAndre Swift is a better running back than the guy they had as their best running back last year. If DeAndre Swift can stay healthy, he's a better player than Miles Sanders.
That's the problem. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Sure. But man, I love what the Philadelphia Eagles did with this draft. I love the trade for DeAndre Swift. They are my number one winner. Number one.
I am so surprised that you guys didn't go first with Seattle. Because Seattle had a hell of a draft, in my opinion, getting Devin Witherspoon, Jackson Smith, and Jugba, and both in the first round. Zach Charbonnet in the second round.
That's a bad pick.
Going to get Olu Oluwatumi.
I don't love the Zach Charbonnet pick in the second round.
Yeah, I don't like
Walker. I don't get it. But
yeah, well, I mean, I think.
And then you took Kenny McIntosh.
They don't got Rashad Penny no more. They don't got Rashad Penny no more, so you need a second running back there to kind of spell Kenneth Walker. He's a 3-down back, but I was really gonna go with New York Giants, man.
What?
So
Seattle, they even signed a running back in free agency. I'm asking.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm going to New York Giants. I'll say them just off the first 3 picks, getting Deontay Banks, getting John Michael Smith. Getting Jalen Hyatt just off the first 3 picks. Those guys are all 3 going to be
Jalen Hyatt.
100%.
Those guys are all 3 of those guys should be right away contributors for the New York Giants. Already a team that was a playoff team. All 3 of those guys should be contributing day one.
They took Jalen Hyatt. Joel took Jalen Hyatt 73 overall.
Yeah,
they flat out stole him. That Cowboys wide receiver coach got to be kicking himself because he said something about his route running, and it's like, okay, now you got to see him twice a year.
Yeah, my other 2 winners were your guys' other 2 winners, Eagles and Houston, on top of Seattle.
I got a bunch of winners. I got a bunch. I'll do another one. I got Arizona Cardinals as a winner. First of all, you get future draft capital. That was their number one goal going into this NFL draft. Get future draft capital. And not only do you get future draft capital, you get the Houston Texans, not the Cleveland Browns first round pick next year. The Houston Texans. Are the Houston Texans going to be good next year? Probably not. That is going to be probably a top 5 pick. And then you trade back up into the top 6 to get the best offensive tackle in this draft. It's just a slam dunk for the Arizona Cardinals. I love what they did with this draft process. I love the way they've been they just picked up future draft assets, and they got BJ Ojolari, who I love, a guy who's a really good edge rusher. I think they did a slam dunk job with this particular draft.
And also, I mean, getting a day 3 quarterback. I like getting day 3 quarterbacks, by the way. Getting Clayton Tune from Houston,
low risk,
as well.
Low risk.
You can really swing it.
Guy could probably starts for you this season, and if he plays well, you trade him away. You get some future assets out of him.
Exactly. Yeah, I love Arizona too, as well.
The only other running back on the Seattle Seahawks roster right now, outside of Kenneth Walker, is DJ Dallas, who's meh. And they did take Kenny McIntosh too, so in this draft.
I had Houston, Chicago, Philly, Seattle, Cincy, and Dallas as winners. Like everybody hated the
kid from Michigan. Yeah,
everybody hated that pick.
It's not that people hated it; it just didn't make sense value.
Nah, they hated that pick. they hated the pick. Like,
Wait, who?
anytime-
You said everybody hated who?
Mozzie Smith, the
Mozzie
Oh
Smith.
hell no! That's a hell of a pick right there.
Yeah, but he just like that
That's what I'm saying.
wasn't.
Like
his-
that's what I'm saying. Like they
he
hated the pick.
Like his projection, his projected place in this draft was like a.
That's cold,
second
and
round.
that's cold for they hate the pick. You can try to pretty it up any way you want to. Oh, his value was supposed to go here. Like, no, bro, they hated the pick. You're better off just saying they hated the pick. Like that's
they like
perfect nose tackle. He's a perfect nose tackle. He's gonna get double teams because he's so strong. He's probably the strongest guy in the draft class.
And we kind of saw it like when Michael Parsons, when he was getting doubled and triple team, nobody else could really apply pressure like that. Like that. Like what's his name? Why is his name?
They got the kid from Oklahoma on their team right now.
I'm gonna tell you my favorite pick from Dallas though is Demario Overshawn, the linebacker out of Texas. I think he's gonna be a stud from them day one. The game against Alabama, he had a hell of a game against Alabama. I love that pick.
My favorite pick, not just because.
Don't ruin it. We'll get to favorite picks. We'll get to it.
I'm just saying for them.
My other winners, I got. So I got the New England Patriots actually as a winner. I love the Christian Gonzalez. I love the.
That's literally it. That's literally it. That's literally the only good pick.
It's slam dunk value. Best cornerback in the draft. You get him at 17. I think that's a really, really good way to work the board. I also secretly really like the Kayshon Boutte draft pick. If that dude can get it back together, he could be he was before the season started, like a first round pick at the wide receiver position. If he can get it back together, he could be a steal in the sixth round.
That's the issue. He's proven that in a situation in that kind of environment where it's not you have a say, it's I said do this, now shut up. Right? Like that's literally what New England is. Bill Belichick's word is gospel.
So I think he will, because if he hasn't turned it around, I mean he was a top 5 wide receiver in this draft class before the season started, and he fell due to poor play on his part and poor quarterback
and his
attitude. His attitude as well. So
his attitude was horrible.
I like their first 3 picks. I mean,
his attitude
I didn't see much
horrible.
of Marty Mapu from Sacramento. I didn't see Marty Mapu much Sacramento State.
That's a Belichick special. That's a Belichick specialty right there, bro.
I saw some tape of him, and I loved every bit of it. The only thing I hate about New England's draft, and the same thing I'm gonna say about the damn 49ers, is that they went and got a kicker
drafted
in the
a
third,
kicker.
4th round.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is wrong
the
with you?
49ers, Robbie Gold's no longer going to be there.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
That kicker. They took the kid from Michigan, right?
I know he's the Lou Groza Award winner. Yes, Jake Moody's a hell of a kicker.
Hey, he got a boot.
Third round. Third round.
Which kicker?
There's another team that went and got.
I also you brought up Cincinnati.
Round.
I love Cincinnati's draft. I for sure love it. Miles Murphy is a plug and play starter. Makes him one of the dangerous defensive lines in the NFL. DJ Turner, pretty good value pick there. Playing in the Big Ten. Jordan Battle, Alabama was picked as a second round pick. Went in the third. Chase Brown, probably the Joe Mixon replacement, depending on how that ends up shaking out, just for cap reasons. But yeah, I love Cincinnati's draft too.
And they got what? And they took Michigan's. Hey, which kicker won the Luke Groza Award? Is he?
I believe it was Jake Moody.
Because
I don't remember who he went to.
Michigan, right? Because New England,
New
England, he went to Michigan. New England got a kicker from Maryland. They got Maryland. Chad Ryland.
Or Jake Moody might have won it. He might have won it. I don't know if he won it back to back, but he definitely won it 2021. I'm not sure if he won it last year, but he's definitely.
Pittsburgh had I just didn't name him. Pittsburgh had a good draft.
I mean, you can make the argument the entire AFC North had a fantastic draft. I love what Baltimore did. I love what Pittsburgh did. I love I even like what the Cleveland Browns did, even with their limited draft capital. The fact that they were able to come out of here with Cedric Tillman. If he doesn't get hurt when he was at Tennessee, probably not a third round pick. Dawan Jones in the 4th. Luke Weiper, the the center. I think he tore his ACL, so he probably won't play this season. But that dude he was like top 5 projected value when they took him in the 6th round.
I stand corrected. The kid from NC State won Lou Gross award last year, and Jake Moody won it the year before.
Okay.
So yeah, I love what everybody in the AFC North did. I like what Baltimore does. Locking up Lamar Jackson, and then getting him weapons, say Flowers. I'm also
Charles Jones from Purdue. If you guys watch Big Ten football, I know TJ did. Charlie Jones,
he cold.
That's the guy. He's nice. I like him. I like him in the 4th round.
Like he's a more speedy like Julian Edelman. Like he fast as hell, bro. Like he's slim, but he gonna have to bulk up because he's slim as hell. Like he has a very slim build.
So swinging over into the other side, so not everybody can be draft winners. On the other side of this coin, there has to be some losers. If you guys had to pick some losers, who do you think some losers are?
Okay, I had Miami for the simple fact that like they played themselves, like they cost themselves draft capital with the Tom Brady.
They tampered with Sean Payton and Tom Brady. Didn't get either of them.
So you played yourself on that. You have assets on that defense that you probably should move off of to get some kind of draft capital for. You didn't do that. You have a bevy of running backs on that room that are already solid running backs, and then you just add Devon Achane to that, the running back out of Texas A&M. Thank you. Elijah Higgins, the receiver from Stanford. That's just depth. You can never have too many receivers. I don't hate that. And then Miami, and then New England outside of Christian Gonzalez. I think I'm just like, Bill Belichick special. Like you get a kid from Sacramento. You get a kid from Sacramento State. No disrespect to him or that school, but like, bro, really?
He was very productive.
He was
the best linebacker. He was the best linebacker in the FCS. I'll give him that.
Dolphins did get Cam Smith and kind of a steal in the 2nd round there. I do like that a lot.
But I'm going along with TJ on New England. But I'm not going to just go New England. I think the biggest loser was Mac Jones, right? Because he didn't get any weapons in his draft. I mean, he got. We talked about it. David.
He drafted somebody of the 2 guys in the 6th round.
Yeah, you got Devontae Parker, you got Juju Smith-Schuster, and I forget who the 3rd wide receiver is in that.
Daquan Thornton, who's there.
Taquan Thornton.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have guys like Mac Jones. Probably like, man, you set me up for failure again, dude. Like, I can't stand it here. You know what I mean? But him and Jordan Love are losers.
I have found it very difficult to find losers during the talking about this draft, but every time I thought about a team that I thought was a quote unquote loser, I had to go back to the Detroit Lions. I just can't get around this Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, first 3 picks in this year's draft. But the crazy thing is, like, so they got Brian Branch like in middle of the 2nd round. If they had flipped
pick.
If they had just flipped Branch and Gibbs, we're not having this conversation. Like, we're not talking about the perceived value in the players they took and when they took them. Like Brian Branch, if they take him at 12, nobody bats an eye. Like they're like,
here it is. They moved down from 6.
Yeah, so they got they
could have if they were going to get a running back that they really like and they were going to trade. They traded DeAndre Swift. They could have went and got Bijan Robinson over Jahmyr Gibbs. You know what I mean? And even though I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a dog, I just think that he's a 2nd round, end of the 1st round talent. That's just and Jack Campbell is a 2nd round grade.
And Denver's a loser. Denver's a loser for me too. Just like again, you gave up a lot of draft capital. You didn't do nothing to try and recoup at least half of it. You got receivers that threw their names out there, like saying they wanted to get traded. I understand you don't have to trade them, which is exactly what happened. But like when Jerry Jeudy requests a trade, the least you can do is throw the line out there, throw the reel out there, and see what you can get for Jerry Jeudy. Because I know it's a bevy of teams that would like Jerry Jeudy on their team. Like
the other, like going back to the Lions real quick. The other thing is I don't really love like their return on this trade with the Arizona Cardinals. could have been a lot better. I mean, they got the 12th and the 34th pick for number 6. I mean, look at what the Cardinals got for that's basically the same trade. I mean, we're talking 3 spots. They got an additional first round pick next year and a bunch of trade assets. I don't know. But yeah, I do agree with Denver being kind of a loser as well. Sorry, you go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. Mm-hmm. I want to throw Atlanta in there. Like I don't give like again. I'm
throw Atlanta in there.
I'm all outside of Bijan.
Even
that, bro. Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because you got Tyler Algier. This is the thing about Atlanta. You got a lot of
Tyler Algier. You got Tyler Algier.
You could have went in the second and third round or got a day 3 running back, and they could have spelled or done just as much as with Tyler Algier. You're skipping out on Jalen Carter. You're skipping out on Christian Gonzalez. You're skipping out on a lot of good players. Not saying that Bijan Robinson is going to be a hell of a player in the league, which he is. But I mean, you already had a running back there that was productive last year.
They had
other needs.
Caleb Huntley was good last season. Cordell Patterson was good last season. Yeah. Like they had something they did well, and they just were like, oh, we're going to do it even better. Like. I don't. He might win Offensive Rookie of the Year. We'll get to that.
He will, and especially in that offense, he will.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Atlanta taking Bijan Robinson at 6.
No, me neither.
So, me neither. I don't know.
If I had to go with my losers are the New York Jets. I love Will McDonald. I mean, he was super duper productive at Iowa State. I love Will McDonald, but yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers will feel right at home because he ain't get no help in that first. He ain't got no help in that first round. Then I mean, I like Joe Tippmann, but I think John Michael Schmitz is better than Joe Tippmann.
So I think the thing with Tippmann, because of his size, I think he offers more versatility. Like he can play kind of anywhere on the offensive line, which is probably why he went over that guy.
Yeah, and then another loser is the Vikings. I mean, I like Jordan Addison.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, no. Here we go. Obviously, you get Jordan Addison because Adam Thielen, like you just said, bye.
I love that pick.
Right. I love that pick. Right.
It's good.
The issue with the Vikings has never been their offense, like the weapons. Right. The issue has never been the weapons. The issue has always been what? The trenches. Right. Dexter Lawrence literally lived in Kirk Cousins' front, like in his back pocket. In that playoff game, right? So you got problems up front, and then on the other side, you can't generate a rush. So,
well, I mean, they're really they're really helping Marcus Davenport turn his career around. Like,
I actually want to get to that at the end. Well, I actually get to it right now. In terms of the pass rush, they picked up 2 guys in undrafted free agency. I think they picked up the 2 best undrafted rookies in the draft, in my opinion, Andre Carter and Ivan Pace out of Cincinnati.
Andre Carter didn't get drafted.
Andre Carter did not get drafted. He went undrafted because he had 11 bench reps and he ran a 4.9. So that's why he fell out of the whole draft. It's because of his size and his speed.
I don't think the 4.9 was a problem. Like it's
I think it's the 11 bench reps.
It's the 11 bench reps on 2. But it ain't number 225.
And also they considered him to most of his sacks in his junior season were out of the wide 9. And it's like, well, what happens when you're not in the wide 9? Can you generate a pass rush? And we saw him go from 17.5 sacks or 16.5 sacks to only 4.5 this past year. So I get it, but he still had he had a 3-round grade up until the combine. So getting him and Ivan Pace, the only reason Ivan Pace falls, he was very productive at Cincinnati. He's 5'10", but he's a dog, Yeah, I mean, and he's a guy that can, get pressures on the quarterback from the linebacker position as well.
My final loser before we move on to the next category is the Washington Commanders.
Well,
I just don't like the Emmanuel Forbes pick. Based on who was on their board at the time they picked him, they picked basically like the 5th best corner they could have.
Absolutely.
I think Porter would have been a better pick.
A lot of
Christian Gonzalez would have been a better pick. Cam Smith would have been a better pick. I just don't get it. And
they literally picked Emmanuel Forbes before Christian Gonzalez got picked from the New England Patriots.
Yep.
I also think it's all about scheme. Like I don't know what kind of defensive scheme the Commanders run. Like if he don't fit the scheme, then don't try to put a square in a round hole. Basically,
True, but I just think they could have gone another way. But
Yeah, and getting back to the Vikings, their third round selection, Makai Blackman out of USC. I didn't like that pick at all. At the end of the third round, you just got Keely Ringo still there. You still got Clark Phillips still there. You should have picked those guys because Makai Blackman, I know, although he has some ball skills, those other two guys are much better tacklers in the open field, and they got ball skills. And Keely Ringo's a big physical corner. Clark Phillips is proven it's all Pac-12 from Utah. I mean, he's one of the leaders on that defense that went to the Rose Bowl, that won the Pac-12. Like, I just didn't get why they picked him. And then we talked about Atlanta, Bijan Robinson. And then I'm going to go with the 49ers just off the basis that they went with a damn kicker in the third round. What the hell are you thinking? You're a loser. That's all I got to say.
Hey, in San Francisco's defense, at least they didn't take a running back in this year's draft.
Okay. Fair enough. I
mean,
Jordan Love is a loser too. Jordan Love is a loser because I think first pick you get Lucas Van Ness, an edge rusher. There are better edge rushers at 12 or whatever.
And they passed on the top two tight ends in the draft. They passed.
Well,
on
they got
Mayer.
the third best in Luke Musgrove. So they got the third. They got the third and the fourth best tight end.
I'd rather have
Darnell. I'd rather have Mayer or Washington. Me personally.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, both those guys were. Well, I mean, Washington was still there, but Mayer was already gone.
Absolutely. But they also they got the kid from Michigan State who I do like. I think he's super explosive. He's the best. He was like one of the best wide receivers at the Senior Bowl. That's the kid Jaden Reed. I like him. And then the other guy that they got, Dontavian Wicks. He had a good junior year, but his senior season, they had quarterback problems at Virginia. He drops a lot of passes. I mean, he's another guy that's got alligator arms that catches the ball with his body. Don't like that pick, but it's whatever. They didn't really get him a lot of help. I really would have loved him to get, Jackson Smith and Jugwood with that pick, or
I mean, they took a place kicker too.
Yeah, they took Andre Carlson, who I think Andrews. I think he's like 6'5" or what. They're phasing out my boy from Colorado there, Mason Crosby. So.
All right, let's talk. Let's get moving a little bit faster here. Let's talk about your best pick. What was your best pick?
Jalen Carter.
I got
Gonzalez.
Best pick outside of the first round. So I got actually 4 right quick. I'm just gonna. So Taywon Jones going 111 to the Cleveland Browns is like a pretty good value pick. Osiris Torrance going to the Bills at 59.
Absolutely.
Straight up steal. Brian Branch going 45 to the Detroit Lions, and then the Las Vegas Raiders getting Michael Mayer at 35. I also thought was immense value. You trade away Darren Waller. You replace him immediately with Michael Mayer.
I got a lot. Yeah, I agree with all those. Another guy that you could add there, Kendre Miller going to the Saints, third round. Is good value right there. Who's another guy that I had here on my late rounds? Keely Ringo going to the Eagles. Clark Phillips, Oluwala Watume going to the fifth round of Seattle. He could be a day one guy as well. Antonio Johnson going to Jacksonville. THT going in the sixth round. Even though I know he's small, he still won a damn Thorpe Award. He's got excellent ball skills. I like JL Skinner going to the Broncos. I know you guys said y'all didn't like that, but that's good value at the 6th round. That guy hits like a ton of bricks, and he can play at the outside linebacker position. Then I'm gonna go with a 7th round pick that got picked by the Vikings, Dwayne McBride from UAB, baby. I like that pick a lot because Dwayne McBride is a natural runner, and we don't know what Dalvin Cook's situation is. He might play a little bit next year. That's what I'm saying. He might play.
Sure gonna play a little bit.
I like that. Yeah. I like that caveat because you said outside of the first round because that's just obvious, right? Like you don't make a first round, right? So going in with the Bears, second round, both their second round picks, Javon Dexter and Tyreek Stevenson. Tyreek Stevenson easily could have been a late first, early second guy, right? What is he? 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, solid, love it. Same thing with Noah Sewell, Penei Sewell's little brother out of Oregon. We got him in the 6th. We got him in the 5th round. Obviously, Chase Brown going to Cincinnati in the 5th. That is a steal. That's a steal and a half. Like that's a steal. Like there's no other way to put it. Dude is special. He led college football in rushing. Like him. Like he led college football. Like, how does the leader in college football rushing out of all them running backs that can qualify? How does he fall to the 5th round? I don't get it. It just makes zero sense to me. I forgot.
Not to mention he was a Heisman candidate for.
He was a Heisman candidate.
He's about to show Joe Mixon the door, probably.
So, like he tested great. It ain't like he's slow, right? It ain't like he's slow. It's not like he ain't strong. And where did Ronnie Bell go? Because he was a 7th round pick too. Ronnie Bell to out of Michigan. He falls to San Francisco all the way in the 7th round.
Pick right there. I like
that's a good pick. And low key, another one. Y'all ready? Will Levis going to Tennessee.
I do like that pick too a lot.
I like that pick.
Let's talk about worst pick on the other side of the coin. I have 3 that I thought were just not. Or 2 actually, the picks I didn't really like. Jonathan Mingo going to the Panthers at 39. Just based on who else was on the board at the time they made that selection, just kind of head scratching a little bit. Jalen Hyatt's still on there on the board, a better player in my opinion. And if you're Carolina, if you don't trade it with DJ Moore as part of that package, you don't have to make this support pick. And then I didn't like Sam Laporta at tight end out of Iowa at 34.
Hell no.
Not as good as Michael Mayer, who was still on the board. I don't even think he's better than Darnell Washington. So
I didn't like that Sam Laporta pick either. Just to put that out there as well.
Since we kind of packaged up best value with best value and best pick, I'll just go real quick. My best value picks. So Keyshawn Boutte, New England 187. If they can get that guy to get his mind right again, he could be a really valuable asset for New England. And then the Colts, that kid out of Northwestern at 110. Abdi Dewara, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Yeah. He had crazy combine numbers, and everybody thought he'd be a first-round pick. For the Colts to get him at 110 is pretty damn good value. And then my worst value of as long as we're staying with it, I got to go Will McDonald IV, the kid from Iowa State by the Jets. I just don't understand that pick whatsoever. You need offensive line. You should have probably done something with that offensive line. You have Aaron Rodgers.
He did have 33 sacks in 3 years, though, bro.
It's not good value, in my opinion.
That's great value. I mean, he averaged almost 10 sacks a season.
So,
I get it. I get what you mean though, because they had other needs. Their defense was good, but I think Will McDonald's a guy that's he's gonna be a great edge rusher.
The thing is that they just used a first-round pick on a guy last season who only had 4 sacks. So I don't know. What do you guys have other worst value guys? Worst pick, worst value.
Yeah, the worst pick for me is Jake Moody. Got 3rd round pick for the Niners. Why the hell are you taking a kicker in the 3rd round? I mean, I'm going the rest of.
Robbie Gould. Robbie Gould.
I don't care. I'm bringing in. It's just like fantasy, David. I'm picking my kicker with the last round, 7th round, 6th round.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? And I kind of, it's my worst value is like Jack Campbell. I mean, at 18, that's horrible value. He should be picked in the 2nd or 3rd. You went almost the next round and a half without the next linebacker being picked. So there was not a need for linebacker. This is not a strong linebacker class. You extra hard reached for Jack Campbell. Emmanuel Forbes, obviously, you talked about him passing up on Christian Gonzalez, and then Lucas Van Ness for the Packers as well. I just think that's a bad value pick. There were other better edge rushers out there as well. And then I talked about it a little bit earlier, Mekhi Blackman from USC at the end of the 3rd round. You still got Clark Phillips there. You still got Keely Ringo there. They got picked, just a few picks later after that. I think that was bad value for them, especially his production there at USC.
Hendon Hooker is probably my worst pick and worst value.
For real.
Doesn't help you right now. You're the Detroit Lions. You gotta assess the situation as a whole. I understand they quote unquote looking ahead, but Jared again, I talked about that.
Hendon Hooker is only 3 years younger than Jared Goff,
and I talked about this the entire time because they were mocking one of those quarterbacks in the 1st round to the Lions. They were mocking C.J. Stroud or Will Levis to the Lions.
He's 28.
with that first round pick, and I'm just like, what do y'all have against Jared Goff? Like Jared Goff is 27 years. Like, how old is Jared Goff?
28. He's
He'll
only
be
28.
28. He'll be 28 when the season
He'll,
starts.
he'll be 28 when the season starts. So I'm like, so he's still young. He literally
Coming off his best season, pretty much.
coming off his since that Super Bowl season. Like you're literally a couple wins away from winning, like making the playoffs. So like you got to go into it like this. I'm going to give that guy all I can to make him better. That makes us better. And drafting what seems to be his replacement when healthy doesn't make you better. Like you got guys that's going to be suspended for the better, like for like 6 or 7 games this year because they want to bet on stuff. Jameson Williams. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
No,
I don't know. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for just a second because Hendon Hooker was like a first round value, right? If he doesn't get injured and during the season, right? He's got first round value to get him in the third round, have him sit behind Jared Goff. And I understand that Jared Goff is still pretty young. But eventually, I think you're eventually going to move off of him. Eventually, maybe.
Why?
His contract's coming up too, right? His contract's coming up in 2024, right? So this is my thing. I
don't necessarily hate the Hendon Hooker thing. I actually think that like if you're a veteran quarterback in this year's if you're Ryan Tannehill or Jared Goff, you're probably a loser during this draft. Like. You have Ryan Tannehill, you get Will Levis right there behind you, and if you're Jared Goff, you end up with Hendon Hooker, who's not going to play this season probably. But
no, he's not even going to play. He's not even going to play this year. But look at the situation. Look at you have a NFC North division for the first time in God knows how long. It's up for grabs. Go get it. But I'm going to draft a quarterback who can't play right now and can't help my team get better. No, David, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I don't hate it. I'm gonna be real with you.
You're
I'm on the same side as TJ. I talked to a lot of Lions fans, and I kept telling them, "What the hell is Hendon Hooker? How is Hendon Hooker going to help you win next year?" That you passed up on.
He's not.
He's not going to help you win anything next year. He's going to hold the clipboard. You have a quarterback that's 28 years old, just came out
still in his prime,
statistically, still in his prime. I think you go get another. I don't know, whatever the hell you need. DB.
I mean, they could have used a wide receiver. I mean, they could have got
another wide receiver. I mean, Josh Downs was still there. Cedric Tillman was still there. Jalen Hyatt was still there. I mean, Godly. Look at Kendra Miller got picked. It's 71st.
And right? I mean, you also have major holes in your defense. You also have major holes in your defense that you basically didn't address in this draft.
Didn't address at all in this draft. I mean, Jair Brown's another hard-hitting safety from Penn State. He's still there. I mean, Deion Henley from Washington State. A sideline linebacker. He's still there. What are you going and picking a guy that's not going to help you win a division next year?
In my opinion, the Hendon Hooker is actually my most shocking pick because I didn't expect the Lions to take Hendon Hooker. I also didn't think he'd still be here in the third round. But yeah, that's my most shocking pick.
And at the time,
my most shocking pick is Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, oh hell yeah! Not even close.
I did not expect him to get picked at number 8 overall.
I think.
I thought he could go early, but I just didn't think Carolina or Atlanta would be the team to take him.
I had a first round grade on him. I had him falling all the way to Dallas because that's just picking a running back that early. Excuse me, is a double-edged sword because the running backs that have been picked that early. Let's not act like it's a great track record. Like. I'm sure that the Giants don't have regrets about drafting Saquon Barkley, but he's basically missed 2 years of his career due to injuries. Zeke Elliott, they ran him into the ground. Like, they gave him the ball so much. Ran him into the ground, and then when he, loses a step and whatnot, then they all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Zeke is this, Zeke is... I'm like, you gave him the ball 50,000 times in the first 4 years of his career. What'd you expect? And this is without replacing the guys up front to make it easier for him to run.
Yep.
Right? That line got old and started to retire. So did Zeke. And they didn't. It's just like, oh, I'm just still going to keep giving Zeke the ball. Doug Free was the first one to go. And then now you running with 42-year-old Jason Peters at left tackle. Tyron
I was pretty shocked by that pick, but
like Tyron Smith can't stay healthy. He's like, yeah, but yeah, Bijan Robinson at 9. Hey, that has to go one or two ways, bro. Like you either got to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Like that's it. Like you got to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. You are a top 10 draft pick. You in the head of all the receivers.
Yep, all the offensive linemen, except for
All
outside
the
Johnson.
outside, like, but you don't like. But we already know that like offensive line for whatever reason can't win Rookie of the Year, which I think should change. Like
I made that argument last year.
either that or create a new award for rookie offensive linemen to have good rookie years. Like, yeah,
So
you passed up Jalen Carter.
Let's talk about favorite.
Probably,
Let's talk about favorite pick as we try to wrap up here, and then we move on to a little projection.
Chase Brown. Chase
my
Brown.
favorite pick, Jalen Hyatt to the Giants at 73. Immense value. He's going to help them immediately.
Chase Brown to the Bengals. That was also my most shocking pick. Not shocking that he was picked up. I expect him to get picked up. I just didn't expect him to fall all the way to day 3. Like again, the guy was a Heisman finalist. Not the finalist. Yeah, no, he got the invite, right? He got the invite to New York.
No,
he did. Well, he was a Heisman candidate. He led the country in rushing, and you found a gem in the 5th round. Like Chase, yeah, that was my most shocking pick and my favorite pick. Chase Brown to the Bengals.
Favorite pick.
My favorite pick is Brian Branch going to Detroit there. In the what was the second round?
Second round. They traded back into the second round with the Green Bay Packers to make that pick.
Day one contributor for them. And then I guess another one is another favorite pick of mine is DeMario Overshawn going to Dallas from Texas. I love that pick in the 3rd round.
No, another favorite pick, Deuce Vaughn to the Cowboys. Watching his dad make that call, asking him like, "Hey man, do you mind coming to work with me next week?" That's love, bro. Like that was so emotional. Like they know how to get you right in the heartstrings. Right?
Yeah,
let's do a little prediction before we get up out of here. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Who do you guys think is going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year? Real quick.
Bijan Robinson.
I'm going Bijan Robinson too.
Yeah.
TJ.
He's gonna get a lot of touches out of that offense.
I think the Vikings start someone. I think Jordan Addison gonna get it because he immediately he's day 1. He's wide receiver number 2. Teams are already selling out to stop Jealous anyway, so he's gonna get a lot of 1-on-1s. So yeah, Jordan Addison.
On the other side, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Is it going to be Will Anderson? Yes or no? I got Will Anderson as Defensive Rookie of the Year.
No, I'm going Devin Witherspoon.
I'm going Devin Witherspoon.
I'm taking Will Anderson. I think he's going to have over double-digit sacks.
I love Will Anderson. I do think he will have double-digit sacks, but something about Devin Witherspoon, I think he'll have like.
You got a dark horse? You got a dark horse? Anybody got dark horse?
For Offensive Rookie of the Year, I will stay with the Houston Texans. I'll go C.J. Stroud for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'll actually go Brian Brantz. Brian Brantz for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I'm actually gonna go with Seattle for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm actually gonna go Jackson Smith and Jugba.
Okay.
Seattle.
All right.
I like that one. And then defensive.
Jalen Hyatt. I'm gonna go Jalen Hyatt. My dark horse.
I like that one too. I like that one too.
Maybe Will Levis will be the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I wouldn't hate it. Like it ain't like Malik Willis did. It ain't like Malik Willis did enough to separate himself in camp.
Man, they basically refused to throw it while he was in the game.
Yeah, and I don't know if I had to go, I guess a dark horse for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Probably go. I'm gonna
go Javon Dexter. I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna pick my new DT.
My new DT.
I'm gonna pick my new.
You know what? I actually, I want to go Jalen Carter because I think Jalen. It's just a lot of guys on the offensive line that he's got to contend with. But I'll actually go with the guy that I love, like one of my favorite picks. I'm gonna go with DeMarion Overshawn from Dallas. I think he can lead all rookies in tackles next year.
Oof. But yeah, this has been our 2023 NFL Draft recap. Hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. David Huffman, Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins. We'll be back here tomorrow doing the crossover. We're going to talk a little bit of off-season stuff and talk about the new CBA, as we have not done that here at Prime Sports World. So keep an eye out for that content. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We get mad at the Knicks because
I'm pissed. Hey, you know what? The Knicks pissed me off, but you know what?
We'll bring the heat. We were
whatever.
talking about that later. You guys all have a good night. Stay safe out there. We'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out, guys.